This is Villa View. Coming up, the latest transfer news, Matt Kendrick's match verdict from Craven Cottage, plus we take a look ahead to expectations for the coming season. Hello and welcome to the first Villa View of the new season. I'm Paul Bradley and I'm joined in our Fort Dunlop studios by Aston Villa correspondent Matt Kendrick. Hi Matt.
Hello there.
Well, in a moment we'll be coming on to the latest transfer news at Villa Park, but first of all give us your opinion and your verdict of that game at Craven Cottage at the weekend.
I thought it was quite an encouraging start, if I'm honest. It was obviously Alex McLeish's, I wouldn't say long awaited or eagerly awaited particularly, but it was Alex McLeish's first competitive game in charge of Aston Villa. The main thing, I think, especially with 3 home games in a week coming up, was to remain undefeated. It was a really good defensive performance actually. Shay, given making his competitive debut, showed why he's rated as one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League with 3 vital saves. And in fairness, in front of him, the experienced back four stood up well. There were a few concerns that Villa were missing a spark of creativity, a few positive signs from Charles and Zogbia, and it was quite an attacking lineup from Alex McLeish, certainly in the first half, with the likes of Zogbia, Emil Heskey and Gabriel Bonlahor supporting Darren Bent. But yeah, I think Villa can be fairly pleased. Fulham are obviously a little bit fitter, having already played 6 Europa League games, and they've also got a settled side who the majority of whom have played together for 3 or 4 seasons. So I think going into those 3 home games against Blackburn and Wolves in the league and Hereford in the cup sandwiched in between, I think it's a positive enough start.
So take a look ahead for us now into what Villa should be expecting from the coming season and what the realistic expectations should be for Villa fans. Tough season last year. A similar one this year, do you think?
Hopefully not as tough as last season. Hopefully there won't be the kind of relegation scares that Villa seemed to dip in and out of last season. I think Villa have got to be targeting European football again, haven't they? I think if you're a football fan, you want to start the season striving to achieve something. And given the way the Premier League seems to have divided into certain tiers of clubs, if you like, Villa have at least got to be thinking they can be in that second tier of Europa League chasers, if you like. It's going to be difficult because a lot of the clubs, a lot of the big 4 has now become the big 5. Tottenham have made it the big 6. Then you've got everybody really, well, the next level competing for that 7th place. Now I think Villa, if they can stay injury free, I think Villa have got a fighting chance of being in there to try and get kind of 7th and try and perhaps edge a little bit higher than that, but it's going to be difficult. That's where you have to turn your attentions to the cups as well. Obviously Hereford at home is possibly as kind a draw as you can hope for in the early rounds of the cup, so hopefully, with no disrespect to Hereford, they'll be able to negotiate that safely enough, and then it's trying to do something in the FA Cup when that ticks around in January, isn't it? So if Villa can try and finish in the top half and have a decent run in one or both of those cups, then I think that's going to have to go down as a fairly successful season for Alex McLeish.
Now, just then you also touched on the depth of squad for Villa. The transfer window is still open at the moment. Is there going to be any more business from what you've heard so far for Villa?
I wouldn't rule it out because things change, don't they, in the closing weeks of the transfer window. I think August the 31st, I think, if I'm right in thinking that's 2 weeks on Wednesday. So yeah, things can change, people's demands change, players' demands change. Clubs have had a chance to have a look at who's going to be involved and who's not going to be involved in the first couple of weeks of the season. So I think there is still scope to do a little bit of business, but we're being told by Alex McLeish that if that's to happen, and he's still got to trim back that wage bill even further to free up money to bring somebody else in. It seems Carlos Quayle won't be going to Rangers now, so he'll still be a Villa player. Hopefully that means they'll have extra cover in defence. It also means that they won't have that extra wage to bring somebody else in. But I still think Alex McLeish wants to wheel and deal to try and get somebody in to kind of really give that spark in terms of energy and in terms of creativity to his midfield.
And there are 2 players who won't be coming to Villa Park, it seems, this season.
Yeah, it's emerged in the last few days that when Villa were chatting to Manchester City about bringing Shay in, there were also very tentative discussions. They were just kind of testing the water to see if either James Milner, obviously a former Villa favourite, or the England winger Adam Johnson would be available on loan. Man City gave them a fairly forthright response that neither player would be leaving the club temporarily or permanently. So I don't think Villa were too upset, because I think it was a very tentative approach, just to see if there was anything doing there at all, rather than them kind of putting their eggs in that basket particularly. But I know that conversations have been had between Villa and other clubs, just to see if any more business can be done. But if that is to be done, it's going to fall within this kind of prudent policy of making sure the wage bill is kept at a manageable level.
And before you go, Matt, Alex McLeish will be facing the Villa Park faithful for the first time this weekend. What do you make of that?
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Away at Fulham on Saturday, the team and the squad, as they walked across the pitch at the final whistle, this includes Alex McLeish, seemed to get a very warm reception from the fans, who were appreciative of their efforts. Now hopefully that'll be the same at Villa Park on Saturday. It's the first time that McLeish will have made a public appearance there as Villa boss. Obviously, with Take That dominating the summer at Villa Park, there's been no friendlies or anything like that. Depends on the result, doesn't it? I think he'll probably get... I don't think there'll be boos, and I don't think there'll be cheers when he comes out at the start of the game, a bit like his first public appearance at Walsall last month. But depends on the result, doesn't it? A nice early goal for Villa, and suddenly the place is vibrant. And God forbid an early goal for Blackburn, and it might become a different kind of atmosphere. But it'll be interesting. We'll have to wait and see and discuss it next week.
Okay, Matt. Well, thanks for your comments today, and thank you for watching. We're back again next week with more Villa View.